15 years, blowing the doors off the competition. Podcasting to planet Earth.
PNRNetworks.com.
Now entering the PNR Networks arena, coming down the aisle from Revere, Massachusetts, weighing in at absolutely none of your business. It's the Mistress of Mayhem, the Queen of Quips. It's time for Ring Around the Rosie with your hostess, Kim Brown.
Hello, my darlings. Welcome to another week here on Ring Around the Rosie. I am your hostess, Kim Brown, a.k.a. Platinum Rose Lady, coming to you on... The hell day is this? Monday, the 26th of July, 2021. I'm sorry. Day late, dollar short, slightly less sane, but you get the general drift of things. Sorry. I am late because we were watching GCW Homecoming last night and it was just too awesome. And I needed some time to recover, although I don't know how much recovering I did, but here we are. Here we are again. Lots to talk about. I hope everybody's week, last week was good, and I hope this week is starting out okay for everybody. I hope everybody had a pleasant Monday. Man, Garfield hit it right in the fucking head. I fucking hate Mondays. Okay, obviously we have to talk about... We don't have an 800-pound gorilla in the room. We have two 800-pound gorillas in the room, which is ironic because one of those people we're talking about would never be confused with an 800-pound gorilla because they're kind of small and not that built, although they're amazing wrestlers. Am I babbling? Okay, yeah. Anyway, obviously the big wrestling news that's been going on for the last couple of days is all indications are that Daniel Bryan and CM Punk have allegedly signed with AEW. Now, I'm saying all indications because I'm covering my ass. That's called CYA, children, and the sooner you learn it, the better. Nothing's, unless you actually see somebody walk out and say, I work for AEW now, nothing's really set in stone. So, it's just one of those things. The stars all indicated, and from all the tea leaves I've been reading in the animal entrails. No, I don't read animal entrails to tell the future. Calm down. But the cards and the stars and everything else, it seems like Daniel Bryan and CM Punk are AEW bound. I'm thrilled about half of that. Oh, that wasn't nice. I have to be honest. It's not that I don't dislike either of those guys, and I will definitely give them both their props. They're both amazing wrestlers. And they both have the ability to get the crowd, really motivated and really into things and into their matches. And that's fantastic. That's fantastic. If for nothing else, it will shut all the people up who felt like they were being so fucking witty, chanting CM Punk's name at every fucking WWE show since the day after he left. I mean, crying out loud. It's like, okay, we fucking get it. You want CM Punk back, it's like, good grief. I hope that this happens for both of them. I hope it works out well for both of them. I hope that it works out well for AEW and the fans and everybody else, because I would really like people to get along and stop being pissed at each other. That would be nice. I don't really know how well Punk is going to fit in with AEW. I think Daniel Bryan will fit in better because Daniel just seems like he's more of a laid-back dude. I'm not saying that I think Punk is a diva or anything like that, but you know, there's been issues where he's had issues with people and such, and that's, you know, I mean, that's just history. That's the way that it goes. But I hope that it works out. I hope that's one thing that will make everybody happy and will keep people from, you know, complaining about something, because goodness knows wrestling fans love to find things to, you know, to bitch at. And I jump into that because the next thing I'm going to do is bitch. Not really bitch. It's not really a bitch. It's a question. It's a question. And it's a serious question. Sort of, kind of. I mean, as serious as I get, which, ain't much. I mean, why so serious, as a great man once said. Andrade El Idolo, who has shown up in AEW, and that's fantastic. You know, I hope they use him better than WWE did. But, I have a question. I have a query. I have a head-scratching moment. What the fuck is up with the Black Mask cosplay? I don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't get it. He has the whole look with the suit and the black mask with the skull, and I'm like, why are you cosplaying as Black Mask? Are you expecting Batman to do a run-in? I mean, granted, that would be cool as fuck, but I don't see it happening, even though TNT plays superhero movies when they're not running Supernatural, which is awesome, or running AEW, which is also awesome. They do seem to run a lot of superhero movies, which are also awesome. Don't get me wrong. Chris Hemsworth Thor. But I'm like, I don't get the Black Mask cosplay. I don't get it. I mean, maybe Black Mask is his favorite Batman villain. I don't know. I mean, it might be, for all I know. Fuck it. I don't know. It's just fucking weird, man. And the fact that nobody brings it up. That's the thing that just weirds me out. Nobody's asking, why is this guy wearing this stuff? I don't get it. You know, maybe I'm asking a little bit too much for a little bit more explanation, but fuck me, I guess I'm just being demanding. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just fucking weird. Also, this is something that's been going around with a lot of people saying this pretty much since AEW started. That a lot of people keep saying, oh, AEW brings in too many WWE guys, former WWE guys, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Question. Who else has been around recently? I mean, I know there's a lot of indie feds out there, and I'm not slagging on them by any stretch of the imagination, but people complain, oh, well, so-and-so was in WWE, and now they're in AEW. And, I'm sorry, not for nothing, but I feel like, for an example of somebody like Miro, who is being used way friggin' better in AEW than he was in WWE, although this whole God's favorite champion stuff, I'm sorry, last time I looked, pride was a sin. So anyway, you know, I think that they've used him a lot better. I definitely think that they've used Sting a lot better, because if you look at it from that point of view, Sting actually worked in the WWE for a cup of coffee and an almost career-ending injury. Thankfully, it didn't end his career, thank goodness. But I don't know. This whole, that person used to work for the WWE. So what does that mean? They're tainted? I mean, I don't understand that complaint. Besides people who just are determined, well, I'm not going to like AEW just because, yeah. You know, which seems to be the incredibly mature attitude that a lot of people are taking. Hashtag sarcasm. But anyway, something else that I haven't actually brought up, before, which I hope anyway, that, people that listen to this show, or people that listened to my show, you know, before when it was on, it's been on for a few years off and on. And, that, you know, there was a point when I, you know, pretty much every other word out of my mouth was Roman Reigns. And I haven't really talked about Roman very much, you know, recently, you know, since he turned heel and everything like that. That's because the broken heart can only take so much. You know, it's just, you broke my heart. You know, And that's a bit melodramatic, but, well, now all the guys before that were like, oh, I wish he'd turn heel, blah, blah, blah. Well, now he's a heel. You fucking happy? Your woman still wants him and she doesn't want you. So, there. Huh? I'm sorry. That's the thing that really bothers me about so many wrestling fans, really. I mean, do I think that some guys actually don't like don't like certain wrestlers because they're jealous because they know that, their women look at them and say, oh my gosh, they're so hot, and they realize you're with them, it's like, yeah, I do. I really do. But, I guess I can say that Roman turning heels turned out to be a good thing for him career-wise, I guess. I liked Roman as a face. But that's just my own take on it for what it's worth. I am exceedingly happy Finn Balor has come back to the main roster because that means I get to see him and his beautiful face and his gorgeous accent and those abs that I would really love to drink champagne off of, but that might have been a little bit too personal. Hi, Finn. Welcome back. Okay. Talking about some results that we watched over the weekend. We had so much awesome wrestling to watch over the weekend. I was so thrilled and so excited. Kicking things off, Saturday afternoon was JCW Jersey Championship Wrestling with JCW Dear Summer, which was done at the Showboat in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Dear Summer, go away, make it fall. Signed me. I'm sorry. I don't do summer. I don't do summer at all. I am not a spring summer person. I am a fall winter person. I don't tan. I don't like hot weather. And as I mentioned, I don't tan. In fact, me going out in the sun is pretty much the end of a Hammer horror Dracula movie with Christopher Lee. There's flames and cursing and screaming and burning flesh and stuff like that. I'm not, I don't tan. So, getting to the results of that show. Starting things off, we had a scramble with Frightmare, Trey Lamar, Kung Fu Janela, Steve Scott, Devin Monroe, and Yoya, which was won by Yoya, which that match was crazy good. Following that was Cole Radrick going against Matt Makowski. I hope I said that even close to correct. Matt, sorry if I didn't. Cole Radrick picking up the win there. Cole Radrick is one of my favorite people in wrestling because he just seems like he's such a decent, fun dude to hang out with. He seems like the kind of guy that you'd go play laser tag with or whatever. He just seems like a really cool person to hang with. Young, Dumb, and Broke, which is very difficult to say even when you're sober. I plead the fifth, or I drank a fifth. I don't remember. Charlie Tiger, Ellis Taylor, and Griffin McCoy going against Marcus Mathers, Dylan McKay, and Steve Sanders. Wasn't Steve Sanders one of the guys from 90210? Dang it, I'm old. Young, Dumb, and Broke picking up the win there. Blah, blah, blah. One of these days I will be able to say that right. It ain't going to be today, and tomorrow's not looking good either. I love those guys, though. They're awesome. Young, Dumb, and Broke are terrific. I still am constantly referring to him as Charlie Striped Tiger in my head, but that's just me, and I'm not well. Ken Broadway went against Frontman Ja, with Frontman Ja getting the win. Braden Lee against JJ Garrett. JJ Garrett picking up the win there. Jordan Oliver going against Arcadia. Jordan picking up the win. Jordan, buddy. Love the hair. Jordan has like some of the best hair in wrestling. Not as good as Jungle Boy's because let's face it, nobody's hair is as good as Jungle Boy's. I just like it better when you don't have the bandana, but that's just my own taste. Following that, I felt so bad for this. I felt so bad for this match simply because I was like, that's so rude. The match was Joshua Bishop going against the team of Hunter Drake, and Billy Danvers. I think Hunter Drake is awesome. Hey Hunter, if you're out there. But the thing is, when the nameplate came up on the screen, the Chiron came up on the screen, it introduced Hunter and Billy as jobbers. That's all it said was jobbers. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so rude. Of course, then I was like, oh, and their opponent is Joshua Bishop. I was like, oh, fuck, this is going to be short and painful. And it was. It was short and exceedingly painful because Joshua Bishop beat the holy living frog snot out of Hunter and Billy. And it was painful and kind of fun to watch. Did I mention I'm not well? Also, Joshua Bishop is smoking frigging hot. There, I said it. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Woman needs, don't judge. The final match of the show was Charles Mason and his goons. That's actually what they were called. That's not me being hostile. That's what they were actually called. Who turned out to be Bam Sullivan and Slade. Ooh, you know you're a bad guy when you're named after a Teen Titans villain. Ooh, scary. Going against Ricky Shane Page, Everett Connors, and Billy Starks. I'm sorry. Let me say that again. Ricky Shane Page, Everett Connors, and Billy Starks. One of these things just doesn't belong here. I'm sorry. Just seeing Ricky Shane Page's face is fucking weird. Oh my gosh, it's so strange. Especially teaming with two incredibly lovely people like Everett Connors and Billy Starks. This was uncomfortable. I mean, Charles Mason makes me uncomfortable, which is his job, but I don't have to like it. Mason and his goons wound up winning, and that pissed me off, and I think it pissed the crowd off, and it was a great show. I mean, don't get me wrong, but just once I'd like to have a fucking main event where we don't, like, start feeling like we're gonna, like, have a really bad evening afterwards. And speaking of that, amazing how I just, moved on to that. Segue. And that brings us to GCW Homecoming Part 1, which was Saturday night. Does anybody actually know how to spell the word Saturday because of the Bay City Rollers song? That's not just me, right? Please? Please tell me somebody out there also knows who the Bay City Rollers are, please? I'm so fucking old. But I'm immature, so there's that. I got that going for me. So, Game Changer Wrestling's Homecoming Part 1, again in Atlantic City, again at the Showboat Hotel, in the circus tent. I don't know what else to call that. That's all I see when I look at that thing is the tent colors, looks like a circus tent, and the chandeliers. So I have that Sia song in my head all night long. Actually, you know what? Just sidebar. Does anybody else think the song Chandelier by Sia could be written from the point of view of a vampire? Read the lyrics and tell me what you think. I mean, I might just be crazy, but, tell me what you think. Kicking things off was Marco Stunt going against Starboy Charlie, and this is why I'm a fucking Marco Stunt fan, because Marco can wrestle. Marco is an amazing wrestler, and it pisses me off that AEW doesn't use him more other than being a chew toy, and that really bothers me, because he's incredible and amazing and awesome and deserves more screen time than he gets other than being battered by heels and stuff like that. Starboy Charlie is also someone who's going to be an amazing star, is already an amazing star, and going to be an even more amazing star as they get older. I also want to say something about Starboy Charlie that it's been bugging me for weeks, since the first time I ever saw him, that he looked like somebody, and for the life of me, I couldn't think of who he looked like. If anybody goes back and looks at pictures of an actor named Robbie Benson, he's probably best known to people for his work in his voice work in the Disney movie Beauty and the Beast. He was the voice of the Beast, but he looks like Robbie's been acting since he was a very young man, and he looks like Starboy Charlie. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so fucking weird. I just finally realized that. Wow. To Tony Deppen went against Ninja Mac, Tony Deppen being the winner there. Nolan Edward versus AJ Gray, AJ Gray coming out the winner on that match. The Grim Reaper going against Too Cold Scorpio. Too Cold is still an incredible dancer, because I know if I tried to do any of the dance moves he did, I would break something, because I'm a klutz. And also, I'm assuming that, weed is legal in Jersey. I'm hoping. I mean, the cops didn't show up, so I guess it's, whatever. Following that was the GCW Ultra-Violent Championship, which okay. This was my first time seeing Drew Parker, who is, insane and very handsome. So those are two things that are, two things that really go well together, being insane and being really good looking, because people don't call you on your shit. Drew going against, the champion, Alex Colon, and Drew actually winning. So he is the GCW Ultra-Violent Champion. Good for you. I mean, I'm not saying that to be facetious. That was a hell of a fight. You guys almost fucking killed each other, and it was friggin' amazing. I'm also kind of why do you want to do this to yourself? But, to each their own, whatever. We had a scramble match with Jordan Oliver, Braden Lee, Dante Leone, Jack Cartwheel, Shane Mercer, and Atticus Kogar. With Atticus Kogar getting the win again. I would also like to say something. This is me getting on my high horse. I am offended. And, for me to get offended, that's really saying something. Kevin Gill, who was an amazing, commentator and all around really nice guy from what I've seen. Kevin, I do have to take you to task, buddy, with, constantly referring to Atticus Kogar as a snake. I'm offended. On behalf of our Ophidian brothers and sisters, I am offended. Snakes are a beautiful part of nature. They are a beautiful, integral part of nature. Snakes keep down the vermin population, and Atticus Kogar is vermin. So I think referring to him as a snake is unfair to snakes, and you shouldn't do that. Yes, I'm fucking serious right now, so there. Again, as serious as I get, which, as I said, ain't fucking much. That following that was the tag team championship on the line. The champions, Jimmy Lloyd and G-Raver. Again, one of these things just doesn't belong here. Apparently this happened in Mexico. There's a lot of remarks I could put in there about what happens other places and such, but I'm not going to do that because that's rude, and I'm not that person. But, when you go on vacation, crazy stuff happens, I guess. But they were paired together in Mexico and became the champions because the universe has a really weird sense of humor. The two of them facing the members of the second gear crew, Matthew Justice and Mance Warner. To the surprise of absolutely fucking nobody, Jimmy Lloyd and G-Raver were not on the same page at any point. I don't think they were in the same book. I don't think they were in the same library. And the second gear crew winds up winning, and the new GCW Tag Team Champions are Matthew Justice, again, and Mance Warner. I'm super psyched. I'm so fucking happy. Following that was Effie, going against frontman Josh C, and Effie wound up winning, and Effie invited Josh C to be at Effie's Big Gay Brunch, which will be awesome. And following that, we had the GCW World Championship on the line with the champion Nick Gage, the King Nick Gage. Thank you very much, because I respect him, because I'm fucking terrified of him, going against Matt Cardona. And I love that the ring announcer was about as enthusiastic for that as most people would be about being audited. That was great. I'm actually surprised Matt Cardona made it to the ring, because the crowd was ready to... I was like, this is going to be like the end of a zombie movie. These people are just going to rip him apart. And through a fuck ton, I mean a literal fuck ton of cheating and 5 or 6 other people being involved, including Ricky Shane Page, who seemed to be on Nick's side for a second and then turned heel again because fuck Ohio. That's that. Before anybody out there who isn't a wrestling fan doesn't get that, that's a wrestling thing. I have actually no problem with the state of Ohio. I've been there. It's a lovely place. So, before any Buckeyes get pissed at me. And Matt, I can do this. I'm an actress. Be in control. Oh, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Just give me a moment, please. Matt Cardona beat Nick Gage to become the GCW World Champion. Did you know that you can actually vomit till you do see stars? I found that out. The more you know. Following his win, I would also like to bring up that the fact that Matt Cardona didn't bleed to death by the end of this is amazing to me. Unfortunately, following the match, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, really, a bunch of people have referred to what happened afterwards as a riot. Because people threw bottles in the ring. People threw empty bottles, people threw full bottles. Allegedly, somebody threw a pizza cutter. That seems unwise. Just thought I'd bring that up. Throwing full bottles seem unwise because that means you've wasted the money. Sorry, Yankee thrift, but, I'm sorry, this is not a riot. This is people getting angry and throwing things. This is not a riot. Believe me, speaking as someone who was around during the height of ECW, I've seen riots. Speaking as someone who was at the mass transit incident in Revere, Massachusetts, that wasn't a riot either because it happened too fast. But I can speak on hostile crowds. It was crazy. I mean, it was nuts. It was possibly not well thought out. But the fact that certain people, whose names I won't mention, decided to get on their high horse and look down their nose and be like, oh, shame on those awful fans, you know. Okay, whatever. Because people get emotional and we're not allowed to show it, I guess. So, I mean, I guess that means everybody who made the ring ankle deep in trash, you know, during the NWO days was shit, I guess. I don't know. But, I mean, do I think throwing stuff was smart? If it's empty stuff, I don't really see how it's not, I wouldn't encourage it, but I really think referring to that as a riot was a little bit over the top. When it was announced that Nick Gage is going to be Chris Jericho's next hurdle in this challenge series until he gets to MJF, I gotta be honest, when that was announced, besides the fact that I had to pick my jaw up off the floor because I was like, what the fuck did they just say? And then when Nick Gage actually came out on the stage at AEW and I'm like, I'm having a panic attack. You know, it was, you know, I panic attacks like that aren't fun. You know, I mean, it's not, and I'm just being facetious. I shouldn't say it that way. If you suffer from real panic attacks, I'm sorry, but I was kind of sitting there going, I think I'm having an out of body experience. But my whole thing was that when he came out to the ring in AEW this past week, I just had this sinking feeling in the middle of my gut that I was like, he's going to lose that belt on Saturday. And son of a bitch, there are times I really hate to be right. So that was night 1 of Homecoming. I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck they're going to do for night 2 after this. Night 2 kicked off with Jordan Oliver going against Jack Cartwheel. I'm sorry, this isn't a slam. I don't want Jack to take this as a slam. Jack, did you dye your hair? Between Saturday's show and Sunday's show, did you dye your hair? Because I don't remember your hair being pink the day before. I mean, my memory's kind of shot, and goodness knows the things that I've done to myself that have caused that, but I don't remember your hair being pink the day before, bro. I mean, it looks fabulous. It looks amazing. I loved it. I really dig Jack. I think he's really great. He's definitely someone to watch. Jordan Oliver wound up winning that match with a figure 4. Next up was the Octopus Jonathan Gresham going against Starboy Charlie. And I'm like, the Octopus. Gee, I wonder why they call him, oh my stars and garters. If you have not seen Jonathan Gresham's look, it's unique. I'm sorry, that mask is very like, somebody read a whole lot of Lovecraft, didn't they? Wow. This was a friggin' clinic. So good on both people's parts. It was so amazing. Jonathan Gresham wound up winning via an inverted figure 4, and Starboy Charlie has nothing to be ashamed of for tapping from that, because fuck it, I would too. The next match was for the GCW tag team titles with the winners, the champions, second gear crew, Matthew Justice again, and Mance Warner going against Dante Leone and Ninja Mac. The belts were kept by Justice and Warner, and it was great, if painful. I mean, it was a good match and fun to watch, but I was kind of sitting there going, I think we should just kind of pour one out for Dante and Ninja Mac right now and just have done with it, because this is not gonna... Yeah, and there, we're done. Oh, dear. The next match was Chris Dickinson going against Cesar Bononi. I have to be honest, Cesar Bononi, while he's physically very, very impressive, I haven't been that impressed with him in AEW simply because I just haven't. I have officially changed my mind because of his match with Chris Dickinson. He didn't win it. Chris Dickinson wound up winning with an ankle lock, but my gosh, Cesar Bononi impressed the living crap out of me. He really did. I also would like to say, on a personal note, Chris Dickinson's grandmother passed over the weekend, and he got on the mic and got very emotional, and his mother had said that she wanted him to come and wrestle and be with the fans. And I wanted to say to Chris and your family that you have my deepest sympathies and heartfelt prayers to you and your family at what has to be a very difficult time. The next match was Atticus Cogar. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be professional. Oh, no, wait. No, I'm not. Fuck it. No one's paying me to do this. Going against the bad boy, Joey Janela. This was fucking insane, which you knew it was going to be because of the people involved. And Joey wound up winning with the fuckery pile superplex, which made everything right with the world for, if nothing else, for 5 seconds, and of course there were light tubes, because it's GCW and there's always light tubes, and I'm sorry, if you're breathing in all that much spooky dust, shouldn't you be a superhero by now? Or a supervillain or whatever? I mean, isn't that what usually happens in the comics? You breathe in a bunch of shit you're not supposed to breathe in and you become a superhero? I mean, that's what happened with the Flash way back in the day, right? My husband's going to be so mad at me for bringing that up. The Flash is his favorite superhero. The next match was Team Iron Beast, a.k.a. two people I would not want to meet in a dark alley or a lit stadium because they're terrifying. KTB and Shane Mercer going against Cole Radrick and Braden Lee. Oh boy. Kind of like watching the charge of the Light Brigade. You know what's going to happen, but you really have to admire their bravery. KTB and Shane Mercer won with a Asmodeus bomb. An Asmodeus bomb. Charming. That's fantastic. We'll just use the name of a demon as a wrestling hold. Why not? I can't see anything going wrong with that idea. Said nobody ever. Ruckus went against Calvin Tankman. Calvin. I love Calvin Tankman. I think he is amazing. He is so incredible for a big guy. He moves so well. And I really hadn't seen much of Ruckus, and I really liked him. Calvin wound up winning, and it was a great match. I thought it was really, really cool and really well done. Ladies match next, and Allie Katch, who came out to the ring with Effie, going against Penelope Ford. For those of you who forgot that Penelope actually was a wrestler, which you really shouldn't, because she's an amazing wrestler, along with being, Kip Sabian's wife. Get well soon, Kip. I hope you're doing better, and I hope you come back soon, even though I think your character is a puss, which I'm supposed to, because, that's the way it works. Penelope wound up winning with a bridging fisherman suplex, which looked really painful. And I have to say this, and I'm not saying this in trying to be bitchy or trying to be anything other than I'm actually saying it as a compliment. Penelope Ford is crazy wicked flexible. And that's obviously a good thing if you're a wrestler, especially if you can beat somebody the caliber of Allie Katch. I mean, it was really a hell of a match. Following that, we had some deathmatch lunacy, because why not? Because why not? With Jimmy Lloyd going against Drew Parker. Jimmy Lloyd comes out to the ring with syringes in his mouth. I mean, not sticking in his mouth. I mean, holding syringes in his mouth. So I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be a real scientific showcase. Said nobody ever. Oh my frog. This was madness. I was like, this is the one that's going to break me. And of course, the syringes got used on Drew, with Jimmy Lloyd using them on Drew's ear and also on his nose at one point. And I have to be honest, I am one of the people who are very blessed to not have a fear of needles until this fucking match. I was like, this is the one that's gonna fucking break me. This is the one that's gonna fucking break me. Drew Parker wound up winning, if anybody actually wins in any of these things, by performing a swanton off a ladder into glass, and Jimmy Lloyd and you people are all completely out of your mind. And again, I mean that in the nicest possible way that you can actually say that. That was the actual last match. After that was done, we had this whole thing where Matt Cardona's attorney, Smart Mark Sterling, came out to the ring and basically scolded the audience and announced that Cardona was going to be suing the crowd for a shit ton of money. Okay. There's a line from Shakespeare. You can all go look it up. Google what Shakespeare said about lawyers, and I'm not gonna get accused of inciting anything. Fuck that. I might be crazy, but I ain't stupid. And basically Mark just kept talking and talking and talking and talking. I'm like, you're going to talk the crowd into submission? Good fucking luck with that. These people look like they're all extras from 28 Days Later. I mean, they wanted to rip him into little bloody chunks of dog food. Out came Nick Gage, and out came 440. Again, fuck Ohio. Well, actually, fuck that portion of Ohio. We'll go with that. 'Cause I've always wondered about that whole fuck Ohio chant. I'm like, dinner and a movie first. I mean, I don't know what you've heard, but I am a lady, damn it, and we live in a society. The thing is, before this could turn into a complete beatdown on Nick Gage, which probably would have kicked off a riot, out came Second Gear Crew and Alex Colon, and this whole thing went into a big, enormous fight. At one point, Nick Gage was going to go at Mark Sterling with a pizza cutter, but that didn't happen because I don't get nice things. Sorry. I took that very personally. If a lawyer's not going to get sliced up with a pizza cutter, what can you hope for? I mean, really. Oh, I can hear the therapist just waiting for the call. Anyway, all in all, this was an amazing weekend of wrestling from Jersey. Just incredible stuff. And we also last night, man, we were very worried we were going to get to see it, but we did get to watch the, we were able to check the Celebrity Family Feud on ABC that had David Arquette leading the team, including Dalton Castle, Peter Avalon, RJ City, and Jungle Boy, going against a team led by Pee Wee Herman, Paul Rubens, and his team including S. Empatha Murkison, Jack K. Harry, Joe Mangalinello, and Drew Carey. So that was cool watching them. Dalton Castle is insane, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. Seriously, that dude is nuts, and I love him. I absolutely love Dalton Castle. More Dalton Castle! I want more Dalton Castle on my TV. I also want more RJ City, because RJ is cool. I like RJ. And that was really fun. I would have preferred more Jungle Boy, but I would prefer more Jungle Boy and less shirt. But that's just me, because it's my show, and I can say what I want. I'm in front of a microphone, and I get to say whatever I want. That's really fucking scary. So that is going to wrap things up for my show, Cats and Kittens. If you have any questions, comments, queries, complaints, money, chocolate, anything you want to anything you want to send my way, platinumroselle@yahoo.com. I hope you will check out all of the other shows that are part of our little island of misfit toys. You can check them out on our webpage. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, if you're bent that way, Platinum Roselle at Twitter, PlatinumRoselle at Twitter.com. That came out a lot dirtier than I wanted it to. So this is me, Kim Brown, aka Platinum Rose Lady, signing off for another week here on Ring Around the Rosie, reminding you to love the ones you hug the ones you love, take some time to stop and smell the roses, try and be good to each other, and be careful.
You have been listening to Ring Around the Rosie with Kim Brown, a production of PNR Networks. Keep in touch with all things about the show at http://ringaroundtherosie.net. Ring Around the Rosie intro performed by Eric Lyon. Ring Around the Rosie theme by Digital Juice. Join Kim for a new Ring Around the Rosie every Wednesday. Ring Around the Rosie is copyright 2018 PNR Networks, Boston, Massachusetts, USA.
15 years, blowing the doors off the competition, podcasting to planet Earth.
PNRNetworks.com